There is no doubt that Venice is a magical city, but it does have a lot of quirks and it sees a lot of travelers. So if you don't prepare, you could end up disappointed. Hi, I'm Taylor with Travel Lemming, and I just stayed in Venice for 16 nights at 12 hotels all across the city, specifically to find out what Venice is all about, where to stay, things to do, travel tips, just like I'm about to share in this video. And I have a full guide to where to stay in Venice, as well as a full list on travellemming.com of all of my travel tips for Venice. So make sure to check that out in the description box below after this video. So with that, let's get into my 33 travel tips for Venice that will save your trip. So even before you arrive in Venice, let's start there. Book your hotels and attractions in advance. Literally, as soon as you know your dates for Venice, book your hotels. I'm not kidding. Even when I was booking my hotels for Venice here, so I stayed here in March, which is not necessarily high season, but as I was booking, I was noticing if I slept on it for even one night, the hotels would be gone. Same with all of the attractions, book them far in advance because you do not want to be left without seeing some of the main attractions in Venice. Get your tickets, guys. Number 2, know if you have to pay the Venice access fee. So this is an access fee for day trippers specifically who are visiting between April and July. So just know if this applies to you before you come here. Some travelers might be shocked by this to know that there is an access fee. It's because Venice sees so many people and it wants to preserve its resources. Number 3, read up on Venice's history before you come here. I truly think that my trip to Venice would not have been as wonderful as it was if I did not learn about the history before I got here. So learn about how they built Venice, learn about why they built Venice. That'll make your trip so much more deep. Number 4 thing, before you get to Venice, do not overpack. When you look at Venice, if you looked at any map, you might see that there's a lot of stairs, there's a lot of bridges. You do not want to be lugging an oversized giant suitcase up and down all of these stairs. Trust me, especially if you are switching hotels, pack very light. For this trip specifically, I just packed a carry-on backpack as well as a small carry-on luggage. I'm here for 16 days, so it was a little bit longer. I did some laundry while I was here, but I had more stuff. If you're only here for a few days, pack light. Number 5, bring a day pack that zips closed. Venice is such a safe city. I have truly not felt unsafe the entire time that I've been here, but there are pickpockets, especially in San Marco or as you're on some of the water buses. If it's really tight in there, it'd be so easy for someone just to like slip their hand into your purse or into your day pack. Have one that zips closed, always have it in front of you and keep your hands on that zipper. Or even better, get one that locks. Number 6, skip the summer. So if you have any flexibility in your travel dates for Venice, I would say skip the summer. This is when the tourists and travelers descend on Venice, as you can see from the tourist tax dates. It also gets incredibly hot and prices absolutely skyrocket. So I think the best times to visit Venice are either in the spring or in the fall. So I'm here in March. I think it's absolutely wonderful. Some days here, the temperature has gotten up to 20 degrees Celsius. So it's been nice and warm when I've been here. There have been some rainy days as well. That's what you're gonna get, but much better time to visit. Number 7, learn a little Italian. And this is for wherever you go in Italy, but it truly goes so far with the locals. Just know your buongiornos, know your per favores, these little things that make your trip a little more deep and help you connect with the locals. Number 8, know the districts. So like I said, I have a full guide to where to stay in Venice on travellemming.com that goes through all the sestieri, all the atmospheres. I also have another YouTube video for where to stay in Venice that I think is really going to help you decide what hotel to choose and where to stay, so you can check that all out. But this tip is know the old districts. So of the sestieri, you have San Marco, San Polo, Castello, Cannaregio, Dorsoduro, and Santa Croce. So those are the older ones. There are some other places though to stay in Venice like Mestre or Murano. So you can check those out as well in my guide to where to stay in Venice or in that YouTube video. Links are all in the description box below. Okay, here are my hotel tips. So my number 1 hotel tip, you don't have to do this one, but I think a hotel outside San Marco is the way to go. I think that San Marco is just so congested. Even at this time of day, it's probably around 11 a.m. when I'm filming this video. You can already see behind me in San Marco. I'm in San Marco right now. It is absolutely bustling with travelers. This is where all of the major sites are. You are going to be literally elbow to elbow with other travelers if you spend your whole trip in San Marco. So maybe you want to spend a night or two in San Marco at a hotel. I stayed at the Baglioni Hotel Luna, here at the Hotel Rialto, and also at Splendid Venice, and I loved all of the hotels. absolutely recommend each and every one of them. But I think if you want a more well-rounded view of Venice, a more local side of Venice, choose one of the other districts for a night or two. Just split it up a little bit. That's my tip there. My second hotel tip is know about the city tax. So this is something that you are going to have to pay on top of your booking fee for the hotel. So you pay this upon checkout. I can't give you exact numbers for what to know about the city tax because it varies depending on time of year, how many stars the hotel has, how many people stayed in the hotel. It's not a large city tax, and the numbers, it won't skyrocket your whole expense budget or anything like that substantially. For example, at one of the hotels, I think I paid €9 for 2 people for 2 nights. But it is just something to know. When you check out, you will have to pay that city tax. And my next hotel tip, number 11 in total, is stay in Mestre if you're on a budget. So Mestre is north of Venice, and you can take either the train, the People Mover, or the bus to get there. It costs about €1.50 to get there, and this is just a way more economical place than in Venice itself. So I stayed at the Leonardo Royal Hotel there. You can find that in my guide to where to stay in Venice. I also have a written guide to the Leonardo Royal as well as a video review of that as well. So check all of that out in the description box below. Number 12, make sure your hotel has air conditioning. This is especially true for the summer. I'm even finding it right now here in March. A lot of the hotels in March do not have their air conditioning turned on yet. It gets so hot at night in the hotel rooms. So then you say, oh, Taylor, just open up the window. That would be great if there weren't a ton of mosquitoes, and then the mosquitoes get in the room. So you're either battling with the mosquitoes or you're battling with the heat. There are a couple ways around this. Some of the hotels do have mosquito nets over the windows, but just double check and see if there's air conditioning. You're gonna need it. And number 13, my next hotel tip is if you have mobility issues, make sure your hotel can accommodate. Where I'm staying right now, Hotel Rialto, I think it's a great hotel. You get a great view of the Rialto Bridge. It's not great though if you have mobility issues. There are a lot of stairs at this hotel. There are better hotels for you if you have mobility issues. One of them I recommend is actually in Murano, and this is the NH Collection Murano Villa. Another good one would be the Hilton Molino Stuckey over in Giudecca. That one would be good for mobility issues as well. So just make sure that when you're booking your hotel, there's not a lot of stairs. All right, now my tips for getting around. Tip number 14, visit Murano and Burano. So I mentioned this already, I mentioned Murano at least, but I think that these are 2 excellent islands, either for a day trip or to stay overnight. I stayed overnight 2 nights in Murano. This is the glass making island. Maybe you've heard of it. They have Murano glass there. Go and check out a glass making workshop. Go to the glass museum while you're there, and then take another trip over to Burano. This is a maybe 20-minute water taxi ride from Murano, and this island is all about the colors. Maybe you've seen the photos. The buildings here are all different colors, and this island is also known for lace making. So check both of those things out while you're in Burano. All right, tip number 15 is do not expect cars, don't expect Ubers, don't expect bikes or skateboards. None of these things are in Venice. The main ways to get around Venice, of course, are by walking or taking the water taxis. I'll go into more ways in a little bit here, but just don't expect that you could just call a ride share service or anything like that while you're in Venice. Venice is completely car free. Number 16, book a gondola on the spot. So I said earlier, book all the main attractions before you get here, but do not book a gondola before you get here. So book a gondola on the spot. There are so many places in Venice to book a gondola, and the price is fixed. So you don't have to negotiate with them. You can just go up, you can pay your fee, and then you can go around for half an hour or however long you book it for and see Venice. This is definitely take the gondola ride. I know some places say, oh, you can just take a traghetto, but no, take the gondola ride. It is so worth it. It's so Venice. Okay, number 17, know the difference between vaporettos, which are also the water buses, the water taxis, and the traghettos. So the vaporettos, the water buses, this is the primary waterway to get around Venice. So one ticket, and there are different tickets you can get. If you know that you're going to be using the water bus for multiple days, you can get a multiple day ticket, or you can get single ride tickets. And there are so many stations all throughout Venice. Think of this as the local bus system. Then there are traghettos, which cross the main Grand Canal, but these are very cheap. They cost about €2 at the time of filming this, and they just take you across the canal if there isn't a bridge nearby. Then there are the water taxis. Water taxis are very expensive, and you likely will not be taking them the whole time. I took a private water taxi from the Venice airport to my first hotel downtown, And I thought that was super worth it. However, that did cost quite a bit of money to do that. So you won't be taking the private taxis the whole time you're here. You'll likely be walking or taking the water bus. Tip number 18, another Vaporetto water bus one, is validate your ticket before you get on. So when you buy your ticket, you'll get your ticket, and then there are actually these like kind of like a vestibule thing where you just tap your ticket, and then the light will go green, and that will validate it. So when you get on, you have that ticket already validated, and your ticket is only valid for about 75 minutes after you validate it. So that's why you have to do that. Do not forget to validate your ticket. Number 19, another water bus tip is let people off before you get on. This is it's pretty standard for public transportation to do this around the world, but I have seen some bad tourists in Venice not letting people off before you get on. They pretty much regulate this. There's always an attendant that's going to help people get off before you can get on, but still, just know this is etiquette. Just do that. Number 20, another transportation tip is don't totally trust online maps. So you might be wanting to use your phone to get around, which is fine. And I did that too for most of my trip, and I got around. I was able to get where I was going. But every now and then, the blue dot of where you are on the screen as you're looking at the map on your phone will kind of get lost, and it won't know where you are or where you're going. So you can mostly trust this, but you can't totally trust this. Number 21, another transportation, wear really good shoes. Oh my gosh, you are going to be walking so much when you're in Venice. I have been doing at least 10K steps every single day when I'm in Venice. Wear shoes that you know are going to be good for your feet. Do not skimp out on this. Trust me. Number 22, another one on the transportation. Like I mentioned, your online maps might get you lost, but you should get lost in Venice. I know it's kind of a cliche to say that, but truly one of the best parts of being in Venice is just winding through the streets, not knowing where you're going. So much of Venice is incredibly safe. It's not going to be any issue for you to kind of get lost through these streets. You'll always find your way back. Venice is not very big. It takes maybe an hour to walk across it in total, so you can only get so lost in Venice. So let yourself just go a little off path. Okay, food tips. Tip number 23, try the cicchetti. So the cicchetti is kind of like Venetian tapas, or it's kind of like bruschetta, but with different toppings on it. So you know how bruschetta has tomatoes? Cicchetti, you'll find so many different varieties of it. You'll find tuna, you'll find salmon, you'll find prosciutto, you'll find vegetarian options with just veggies on top. Try the cicchetti. It's so good. Venetians usually have this kind of midday when they're starting to get a little bit hungry, not ready for dinner yet though. So have an Aperol spritz and you'll be all good to go. Which takes me to tip number 24, lean into spritz culture. So there are so many kinds of spritzes while you're here. There's the Aperol spritz, the limoncello spritz, the Hugo spritz. People do really lean into this. It gets hot here in the midday, and so just to have a spritz to, take a little bit of a break in the middle of the day and refresh yourself is really good. There are some non-alcoholic options too, so just make sure to look that up and make sure the restaurant you're going to has non-alcoholic options, but the spritz is really good. Oh, and by the way, so the Aperol spritz, it has Aperol, it has Prosecco, and sparkling water, kind of like a tonic. So you have that on ice. It's so good. Tip number 25, another food tip, be prepared for seafood. Venice is on the water. You're going to have a lot of seafood here. So you can find seafood on pizza. You can find seafood in the pastas. It's very much Italian cuisine here, but be prepared for having a lot of seafood. Number 26, though, do not eat on church steps. So eating on steps of any church or basilica here in Venice is not allowed. You might even get a fine if you do that. They don't let people just picnic anywhere in Venice because they get so many tourists here. So just be aware of that. Just find another place to have your lunch, to have a snack, or visit a restaurant. And tip number 27, don't eat near major sites, even if it's a restaurant. Of course you can. You can go to a restaurant, you can eat near the major sites, you can even eat near the Rialto Bridge if you want to, or in, St. Mark's Square. It's going to cost you so much more money to do this though. Whereas if you go just a couple of streets over from these main sites, you're going to get a way more local price for the same food. Number 28, another food tip is sip espresso at the bar. This is what Italians do. So they don't order their coffee to go. They don't take their little espresso to go either. They go to espresso bars and they sip it at the bar. They take a few sips, they enjoy the moment, they maybe have a conversation with the people working there, and then they move on with their morning. Do this. It's so wonderfully Italian, and it just helps you like step into the moment, Number 29, use a refillable water bottle. So you'll notice in Venice, there are fountains everywhere to refill your water. This water is purified. It's great to drink. You can just use those fountains. You don't have to buy plastic water bottles every day. And you don't have to buy water when you sit down to drink at all of these restaurants, because they will charge you for still water at all of these restaurants. It comes in a glass bottle, and that can rack up over time too, to be honest. So just use the water fountains. Number 30, explore early in the morning. So I mentioned before too that San Marco and much of Venice gets tons of travelers, especially in the early afternoon. There are cruise ships that dock here. People come on day trips to Venice. So if you want to explore Venice and truly get a good vibe while you're here, explore early in the morning. There's going to be less people walking around. You're going to be able to enjoy yourself just that much more. I didn't totally enjoy San Marco in the middle of the afternoon, to be honest. There was just too many people. So I liked it more in the morning or later in the day too. This is when all the day trippers leave. So you get a little bit just more space as you're walking around Venice. Number 31, cover up at churches. So if you want to visit any churches, any basilicas in Venice, make sure you're wearing appropriate clothing. So for any gender, this means that your shoulders are covered and that your knees are covered. So they will make you do this, or you could be turned away from entering these sites. So just know, if it's summertime and it's hot and you're wearing a tank top or something, just bring, like a light jacket or a pashmina to cover up with. Number 32, so I kind of alluded this to a couple times, but don't spend your whole trip in San Marco. San Marco is great, like I said, especially if you explore it early in the morning. It's where all the main sites are, but there are so many other places to explore in Venice. So I have a whole guide, again, to where to stay in Venice on travellemming.com. It's also in the description box below. So definitely check that out. If you already have your hotel booked, that's totally fine. That article is going to help you get the vibe, the atmosphere for all of the different places in Venice. Explore a little bit. Go to Cannaregio. Go explore the more local life. Go out to Giudecca and see what that's all about. That's what the real Venice is to me. Every place is a little bit different. Get to know it all. And number 33, get your souvenirs from local artisans. I truly believe in buying local, no matter where you go in the world. I think that supporting local just makes such a difference to the economy. But here in particular, I recommend buying from local artisans. Make sure that your, Italian leather has been made by somebody here in Venice even and is real quality. When you're buying Murano glass, get to know who made that piece. You can get so much Murano glass. You can get to know who makes it too at any of the workshops there in Murano. So just do a little bit of due diligence and get to know the local shops, buy local. You'll just have such a more rich experience doing that. Okay, everybody, those are my 33 travel tips for Venice. If you liked this video, if it helped you plan your trip, give it a like and subscribe. And once again, I have so much more content on Venice. Go check out my full YouTube playlist for Venice. Also check out all of my articles for Venice on travellemming.com. It's linked in the description box below, or you can just go to Travel Lemming, type in Venice, and all of my articles will pop up. And if you liked this video, you might like this one next.